start right away.
Okay, so you can share the screen and then we can, did you share the screen?
I am sharing this
Oh,
screen.
okay, yeah, I can see that, I can see that, I can see that now. Okay, I think we can start. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali kulli wa sahbi kulli ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome to another Quranic session, and inshallah we are continuing our journey of Quran in terms of Quran being the book of prayer, the book of dua. And this is our fourth week we're covering this subject because we think from the Quranic perspective, dua is very important and very essential for all creation, particularly for human beings. So, and therefore we're reflecting on the subjects from the Quranic perspective in a very deep manner. So we begin with very definition of what we consider to be dua, and then we talk about the type of dua and how all creation, all creatures make dua, and then we begin to discuss in terms of human supplication, human dua. Last week that was our subject. So essentially, if we just do the quick refreshing, we define dua is a way of requesting, asking for some things that you need or you want. So in this regard, that everything's in the universe, ask from the source, from the creator to, in a way, fulfill their needs and their, when it comes to human and animals, their desires as well. So, and in this regard that we look at the dua as a form of connection and communication. And in this regard that we see everything is created with a potential to make dua. And everything makes dua. Everything asks for something, and human make dua as well. But humans dua, we discussed that it can take different form, and also when it comes to human beings, that human dua can go to the wrong source as well, like asking from nature or asking from luck for something that is directing or dua to the wrong source. That's what we mentioned. But the key part here is that we, as a believer, once we understand the comprehensive meaning of dua and understands our futra in terms of the needs and the desires, and then realize that there is absolutely no one and nothing in the universe which can respond and fulfill our needs and wants, then we will basically see there is really no place to go other than God for everything and anything that we need and we want. Now, once we look at dua in this form, we see through dua, we're going to gain the peace, we're going to gain the satisfaction, we're going to gain the value, tremendous value as well. And that was where the things that we began to talk about it last week. We just had a very brief kind of introduction to that. So inshallah, we're going to start from that topics to understand how dua can determine our value as a human being. So let's start, Dr. Ali, inshallah.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
There is an expression, everybody talks about it, and everyone wants to be self-sufficient. Is it wrong or right to be self-sufficient, or try to be self-sufficient? I ask this question. If you have any immediate answer, go ahead. Self-sufficient, we have to talk about it in which sense? Self-sufficient before people, other beings, or I would like to be self-sufficient in my own existence, in my own being. Now, if it is uh, this term is used in terms of our relationship with other people, of course, everybody, human honor necessitates that I I shouldn't be needy of anybody else, but I have to be self-sufficient. It means I have to take care of myself and I have to provide whatever I need for myself. But as far as our existence is concerned, nothing in the universe can be self-sufficient. Why? I cannot create myself. I cannot create anything else. Anything else. I cannot create nothing in the universe also can create and provide what they need. But everything is provided, we are just utilizing it. That's why before other creatures, human honor requires to be self-sufficient. But before the one who created the universe, provided the universe for us, and gave us these all human qualities, not only body, but all human qualities, our feelings, our intellect, our consciousness, uh, we cannot claim that we are self-sufficient because we cannot provide anything for ourselves. This has to be separated. So before the creator of the universe, we are absolutely needy. But we have to be self-sufficient in our relationship with our creatures. Now, the human honor requires this. I don't want to be a beggar. Do I? I mean, would you like to be a beggar and asking for everything to other people as well, so that they will provide everything for you, as far as other creatures are concerned? Now, when we say, I don't want anybody else help, for example, very simple, I want to eat, yes? Now, food. Am I self-sufficient or not? As far as my need for food is concerned. Am I self-sufficient as far as my need and my, for example, air? My need for air. Am I self-sufficient?
Again, I think it's like to say you're self-sufficient, that means you must have a power to produce and to create what you really need. And if you don't have that, then you're not self-sufficient. You can't do yourself.
So
You
I
are.
am needy of atmosphere to be
Yeah,
created out there.
yeah.
I am needy of food to be created there. But we must be very careful to buy it in order to buy the already created food. I want to be self-sufficient. It means I have to have the money and go and buy it. But as far as existential side of the matter, for the food to be created for me, for example, I want to eat, let's say, tomatoes, right? I am not self-sufficient. I cannot create tomatoes. We have to make this distinction. Now, human honor is confused here. We say that we have to be self-sufficient for what? To buy the already existing tomatoes. That is correct. But as far as the existential side of the matter is concerned, I cannot create the tomatoes, and I am desperately in need of the tomatoes to be created. So, to be needy before the creation of the tomato is not against my human honor. It doesn't really disturb my human honor when I say, please, whoever is going to create the tomato, please create the tomato for me, it is not against human nature. Now, mostly people confuse this method, and they say we have to be self-sufficient and declare that we have to be self-sufficient as far as our existence, as far as the example, I'm using the example, creation of the tomato is concerned as well. That is why human honor is misused in this respect. They say we have to explain everything in terms of uh, itself, so that I am not as if begging the creator of the tomato. I don't want to be uh, humiliated before the creator of the tomato. That is why human beings use human honor in the wrong way and say that I don't want to accept God. I want to explain everything by myself. I want to really to keep my human honor, and I don't need to beg the creator to create the tomatoes for me. For this, they say tomato is the product of nature. Automatically, whatever is happening, it happened to be there. So without falling into humiliation, I want the tomatoes. Uh, because they say the believers in God, they don't know how the tomato happened by itself. That's why they feel someone up there, high being, uh, who's called God, and they humiliate themselves before God. For example, everybody, Christians kneel, yeah, Jews do certain uh, movement to show the humility. Muslims even go to prostration, sajda. They make sajda. Look, they are humiliating themselves. This is against human nature, they say. But this picture represents what? Would you like to make a comment on what this poor man, beggar, in fact, is representing? What this rich man, look, his car is Rolls Royce, the most expensive car. And he's a dignity, man of dignity, begging the beggar to give me some money. Who is humiliated here? And what does it mean? What do they represent? Would you like to make a comment? Of course, it is representing
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I think again, it's very. I mean, it's obvious that here the rich guy is begging from the poor one, and the poor beggar is surprised.
Yes.
So basically, that is obviously is a very surprising things that why you will lower your dignity for something that you don't need to do. So that's the key part, and you already have that. And why would you go and actually beg from the beggar? And that's one thing. Second, because you already have it. Second is that beggar is the last person you should go because beggar doesn't have anything. If he had something, he wouldn't do the begging anyway. So therefore, I think the two side of the irony here is the case.
Now, the beggar, for example, tomato itself is a beggar to exist.
Mhm.
The tomato is a beggar because it cannot create itself. The tomato cannot make itself grow. It has no quality at all. It's a beggar. The tomato is begging to exist. Tomato in its essence, in its essence. Tomato is a beggar. Human being is the honored human being. What we do, if we say that tomato itself is a beggar, I cannot go and beg the tomato, but I beg the creator of the tomato. But what the materialist people do, materialist people, they go and say the tomato is satisfying me. What is tomato? What does tomato represent? Something naturally happened. So human dignity, uh, uh, if human beings prefer not to be a beggar in front of God, the Creator, they have to beg the nature to provide what they need. That is why human dignity is getting lower before the beggar, lower than the beggar, because when they say nature provides everything for me, it means I am expecting everything from the matter itself to satisfy my needs so that I will be self-sufficient. That is the misconception that we wanted to share with our friends. So here, uh,
Before we go into detail, can I, because you mentioned a lot here, maybe we need to highlight some point. So I think the key, what you mentioned in terms of self-sufficiency, that's one of the key message that we hear in modern times. In fact, that I will say everywhere, including Islamic schools that we visit, that you see this message is very common across all schools, because the whole idea is that you should have self-confidence, self-sufficiency, self-belief. So believe in yourself, believe in your power. So this message is, injected into the mind and heart of people through what we call self-help group. There's the whole market for this. And when you go to any bookstores in in modern times, I would say almost one third, one fourth of the books about the subject, trying to really give this message to the people. Now, I think the separation that you made is very important to know that. And we're not saying that you should, in a way, become beggar and begging from the others. So to become, in a way, self-sufficient in terms of not needing other human being, that's one thing. But to recognize that you cannot be self-sufficient when it comes to the creator is another thing. So I don't know, I was thinking when you were mentioning how we can phrase that in terms of to distinguish this two type of sufficiency. And I think it's like in one way we're saying, don't beg from the human because they are beggar, they cannot give you anything. So in this regard, do not fall in a position that you're going to beg from them. That's one. But in terms of the creator, so be aware that you cannot do without him because that you don't have power to create what you need. So in this regard, that I think the confusion comes through the market system. When you go and buy something, you pay the price, you think if I can pay the price and buy, and if I have enough money to buy, then I'm self-sufficient. I can actually fulfill my needs by, spending my money. And I work and make money and go and buy something and fulfill my need. But now we do not understand that what you pay is only for the services of picking those fruits and vegetables and deliver it to you. You're not paying for the creation of them. In other words, the creator create those and give it for free. And you're not paying for that. You're only paying for those farmers who go and pick up those fruit and bring and deliver to you. You're paying the delivery fee, the pickup fee, not for the fee of making them, the fee of creating them. That's, we call it this existential value. For them to exist, that you need to have infinite power and no one can make it. So in this regard, that when you pay the price, you are not paying the price for tomato in terms of its true, let's say, cost of creating tomato. You are paying the price of the guys who go and collect and deliver tomato to you. But who is making tomato? And what is the price if someone, let's say if we develop technology and imagine we could build the tomato from scratch, then now that tomato is going to cost you trillions of dollars, if ever possible. Right now is not possible. So in this regard, that if we are relying on this infinite power to create those food for us, then we need to be mindful of this and realize that no, we are not self-sufficient in terms of creating our food. We are fully depending on the creator to make the food for us. So that is the part I think it's really essential, which means that unless we gain the power to create our food, we have no option but to go and beg the creator and say, I need food, I need water, I need air, but I do not have the power to do any of them. Please create them for me. So I think that is a very essential, once we have this realization that we understand that dua is a necessary way of asking for what we need from the creator.
Excellent. It reminded me this example. If you go to a grocery shop, and you are hungry, if you say to the owner of the grocery shop and say that, look, I acknowledge you, you are the owner of this shop, you have all this property, you are a rich man, and also I acknowledge you that you are a very generous person. Can you give me something without any payment? They will say, um, no, I can't. Why? I don't want to. I mean, maybe there's a charity, they may give you something, but without paying, without paying, they don't give you in general. But exceptional cases, human case. That is not the point here. The point is, without paying, just acknowledgement. Can you get anything? Go to, for example, uh, let's say telephone company. No, I acknowledge you, you are the owner of this, and give me one telephone. They wouldn't. Isn't that normal? But the creator of the universe, we have to understand this point. We shouldn't really underestimate the meaning, essential meaning of prayer. The creator of the universe gives everything freely without any payment. He just says, don't deny, acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it. Prayer is acknowledgement. When I say, please Allah, give me shifa, I am acknowledging that He is the provider of health. Acknowledging, I'm not paying anything. They say you don't have to beg God. No, I am acknowledging God is so generous, creates everything, and doesn't really make us pay in return. Our prayers is not payment in return. Our prayers just the means of acknowledgement, expressing our acknowledgement. That is why my Creator created me with the sense of honor, and He never expects me to lose my honor. Now, that is an interesting understanding of prayer that the Quran presents to us. Acknowledgement, belief is acknowledgement, prayer is acknowledgement. Nothing else. We are not doing anything for God. We are not paying anything. That is a very essential point. That belief in God requires prayer. Prayer is just acknowledgement and doesn't humiliate human beings. When I bow beef here in my house, I am praying now, I prostrate. Am I paying anything to God? No, I'm just expressing my conclusion that you are the one, you prepared everything for me. You gave me my existence. You gave me my life. You gave me my intellect, consciousness. And thank you very much. It is the bodily expression of it. Prayer, for example, 5 daily prayer. We don't understand that prayer, usually the materialist people think that these people are humiliating themselves before something imaginary. I'm not humiliating, I am honored to be honest. I am acknowledging. Then God gives everything. Whether I acknowledge or not, God does not humiliate human beings. Gives it, and then at the end, after we die, he says, you acknowledge that I am the giver, I will continue to give even more. You didn't acknowledge me, you acknowledged nature, provided everything for you. God says, go and ask nature to provide for you whatever you need. That is the hell. You cannot get anything from nature. There is no such thing, nature, whatever they call it. There is no such. So that is why hell means you cannot get anything what you want. Just the opposite. Just the opposite. That is the most severe punishment, if you like. Here we are. I think the subject became clear and our friends understood. Now we can quickly go over this slide now. Our prayers determine our existential human value. Now, human honor, human value, who you are, depends on your position before what you are communicating with in the universe or interacting with the universe. A person is worth, whether he is a brilliant scientist or an ordinary human being, everybody is determined by his belief, who is fulfilling his needs, who is answering his hopes, who is answering his prayers and answering his requests. Who is it? Accordingly, your value, human honor, is defined. Now, one option is nature is satisfying his needs. Some people unfortunately choose this. He will be besieging nature to respond back to him with its unconscious determined laws developed resulting from the coincidence. Accidentally, happened to be out there and naturally happened by itself. So I am before the nature you are giving me. Look, whatever this nature concept, nature, whatever they mean by it, I don't understand what they really mean by nature because it means nothing. Either things are created out there, or is there any force in the universe which creates the things? And the matter, does the matter have any quality to create itself and to determine that I'm going to make the tomato, this is going to be cucumber, the other one is carrot, and there is a conscious acts of creation, or do they just communicate with a notion which has no meaning, really no existence, just the way we observe the universe as it is created? Can I say that the nature of this computer, let's assume that the engineer is here hearing me, this computer developed and made itself by itself, and it happened to be naturally, and I think, thank you, computer, you are providing what I need for me. the engineer will give me a slap. Isn't that so? This is what I made. This cannot make anything. It happens because I made it in this way. But the nature of the computer cannot make itself. There is because the matter has no quality to do anything. What do we mean by nature of the computer? Meaningless. Now, that is very humiliating. This picture meant to be represent this. Computer needs to be made. And this is human being, honored human being, begging the computer, provide my needs. Everybody begs, everybody begs. Do you think somebody just gets the tomato out of nothing or goes to the orchard and picks it up? That's what the prayer. Give me tomatoes, give me tomatoes. Either you take the tomatoes from the plant and the plant gets it from its own way or air, light, water, soil, whatever, all together, and asking them to satisfy themselves, to satisfy the needs of this man. He needs the tomato. Or we will come there now. B, yani, the second option is chance and luck. He pleads for a completely imaginary expectation which is uncertain, unknown, and left to chance. Now, I am lucky to have a tomato, right? Look at this man who is getting the tomato from whom? From what? Chance, accident. So it needs, he is needy before accident. The first one is needy before nature, a concept which has no reality really. Or the last option, the creator of the universe. Acknowledging the creator of the universe. A conscious being who purposefully creates the universe and answers it continuously with his absolute power, absolute will, absolute knowledge. He creates human beings with countless needs. He created the human beings with needs that he is expected to fill these needs and desires. So there will be a continuous communication between the person and his creator through his work. The universe, when I go to tomato, for example, when I can pick up the tomato from the plant, I don't say, thank you, plant. Thank you, nature, to give me, for providing the tomatoes for me. But I say, thank you, the creator of the universe, who created me as well. Thank you. So uh, we communicate while we are picking up the tomatoes from the tomato plant. We thank whom? Chance? No. Nature, the concept in the universe, whatever it is, matter? No. The creator of the universe who created human being consciously and put in contact with me, human beings, with the universe. And through the universe, we communicate with the creator of the universe, therefore by creator. So, and his speech convey to the message he appoints, because we communicate this by acknowledging with the help of the revelation he introduces himself to me verbally. So I say, the person who said, the prophet, who said, the universe has provided for you. You are created by a conscious being. I learn it. After I learn when look at the universe, this universe is not an accident. It cannot happen by itself. Nothing has any consciousness, any quality to create itself. So I confirm the revelation, and the prophet teaches us, teaches us when you are picking up the tomatoes be thankful to the creator of the tomato. Don't thank the tomato. That is La ilaha illallah means. Tomato is not the one who provides your need. Tomato plant, air, water are not the ones who are providing your needs. The one who created them is providing. I say, that really fits the reality of the universe out there, that really fits the reality of my human dignity. So what I do, thank you, go beyond the universe now. The creator of the universe, the absolute being, that is the dignity, human dignity. I am not humiliated before the created beings. That is the essence of prayer in our daily life. We have to practice this prayer. It is very precious, this understanding of prayer. We should just think of prayer in terms of a very narrow understanding, saying that, oh, I am ill, please Allah, give me shifa. That's correct, absolutely correct. But we have to understand that the prayer means whole of my life. Every moment I am in prayer. Prayer to whom? We have to be conscious of it. That's what we are working here.
Very, very good point. So can I make a few comment on that? I think it's really, really essential to have such comprehensive understanding of prayer. So I try to figure out what is the problem. So essentially, what we're looking at prayer is the fulfillment of our needs and desires. And it's very obvious. We need many, many things. Indeed, if we make a list, we'll find out the countless things that we need every moment. Now, and this is, no one can deny that. You cannot live without water, without air, without food, without gravity, without atmosphere, without rain. You can make the list. You cannot live without the entire universe, because the whole universe is essentially created in a way to serve you. They are all somehow contribute to your fulfillment of your need. Now, in that case, that you have a countless need, and then you're supposed to look at the fulfillment of your need and make connection with the provider. Now, we're not doing that. Why we're not doing that? I think the reason is because that we do not, in a way, see as if it is the seed, is the soil, it is my effort. It's those causes and the laws that fulfill my needs. Therefore, when you say is nature, is like, I have a seed of tomato, I plant the seed of tomato, it naturally grows. When I give a water and have a soil, it grows. Now, if I believe that it just can happen, then there is no need to pray to God or thank to God. So that is the problem. So, and I try to see how we can overcome this illusion as if it is the seed or soil or it is the laws that provide that. I was thinking in terms of really, let's say you live in another planet in which there is no such seed and soil, anything, but there is only vending machine everywhere. And you still have the same need, but strangely, you find out there is a vending machine for orange, for apple, for banana, for different fruit and different food. And when it's finished, you see it's again in the night, it's just supplied again. And after a while, then you start to think, oh, it is a vending machine giving me and fulfilling my need. But you have the mind. You're supposed to think that vending machine does not have ability to produce them. Vending machine is just a machine through which those, let's say, food are delivered to you. They are not the one that can make that. So in this regard, that I think in this world, the trees, animals are no different than vending machine for us. But we're somehow, since we have seen those, let's say, food coming through those vending machine, we start to think, oh, the apple tree make apple for us. Honeybees is providing honey for us. So we're confusing those vending machine with the provider as if they themselves could make and give it to us. And I see that is the issue. And when you really use your mind, you see that's complete nonsense. And but once we realize that vending machine cannot make that, the tree cannot make apple, then we will see the source and say, oh, there is a one who knows my need, who watch me, and when my food is finished, he resupply. He send me again through the trees and through the animals. And that become an extremely pleasant connection and communication with the provider, Ar-Razak. That is in this regard that you, in a way, through your needs, you're actually talking and connecting to him. And I think that's what I was imagining when you were mentioning those. And that is going to determine our value because we're not going to beg from anyone or anything because they are beggars themselves. We're going to beg to the source, the true provider alone. So, and that's what the reality of human is. And I think in this regard, the dua, as you mentioned, is an expression of our understanding of reality, who we are and who is the provider. Once I understand that, I think dua is just an expression of this understanding of reality. That's what I
Acknowledging the reality, acknowledging the reality. Yeah, what the reality is, acknowledge it. Don't deny it. That's it. When I was young, you remind me something. Also, we have to study, we have some interesting things here about coming. Now, when I was young, I was working for a government, but there was no direct payment into bank account or this kind of things when I was young. Now people don't have this experience anymore. So what we used to do at the end of the month, go and be in line, wait for the cashier to pay our salaries. Now, cashier pays the salary. If somebody thinks that, oh, cashier is the one who gives me the money and say that thank you very much, cashier, you paid this money, everybody laughs at you because cashier is just a distributor, as you said before, deliverer. No, but the money is paid by government, by the government, not the cashier. Cashier is the distributor. So don't think the government, but think of the cashier, thinking that the cashier is the paying exactly what the materialist people do. Don't see the governor of the universe who creates the tomato and the plant and the universe and the earth and the atmosphere, everything, forgets about it. He says plant or animal or, for example, this example, but this is another one. Thinking that cow is producing the milk. Cow is the cashier. Government, the one who created the cow, the one who created the farmer here, is providing everything. Cow is a cashier. So inshallah, we should be uh, conscious of while we are communicating with everything, doing any kind of action, in fact, any kind of action, we are always in the action of prayer. But the important point is whether we are aware of it or not. There is another thing here. This is what Nobel Prize, ceremony, I think, to, of course, a picture. But that is something interesting here. What this man is saying, he got the prize, Nobel Prize, right? He says the mathematical equations suggested that this quark would possess a specific physical property, which was later supported by my findings, research, yeah, made. So experiment. Look, he got the Nobel Prize. For what? To see that there is a relationship between human mind and how the universe works. Mathematics is how the human mind works. And what the universe, exactly they communicate with each other, they express each other, they match each other perfectly. He never thinks that this man, he never thinks that, how come my mind is here, the universe is there, they completely fit each other, match each other. When mathematical equations exactly manifested in the creation of the universe. It means the human, whoever created the universe, he also must be the creator of the human mind. And this man is saying the quark possesses a specific physical property. Quark itself, quark itself happened to be accidentally looked at in a way that the human mind works, they match each other. How the quark is going to know how your mind is working? Doesn't think about it. He got the Nobel Prize, appreciated it, but they don't think, this materialist people, represents materialist people. They don't think that who is arranging all this perfect matching? How the quark knows how human mind works. This is what the materialist people's ignorance. They are ignorant of the reality. Although they got Nobel Prize because they just find out the relationship between human beings and the universe, but they don't question how come it matches each other perfectly and say that quark has its own specific property. Quark will know human mind. This is the contradiction, disgusting contradiction that the people miss the point. I think these genius people, hardworking people, uh, I don't know what they feel, but this understanding is completely corrupt understanding. He has to say, I found out the universe is created in such a way that my mind works and they match. So the one who created the universe must be my creator as well. Not the quark is specific physical quark has the specific physical property, but it is an arrangement, perfect arrangement between me and the universe. We have to be aware that whoever created the universe must be the creator of human beings. That is why this matching between them is perfectly working.
Okay, so let's be, I think that is an interesting point. Let me just briefly highlight the key part. So the key part here, as I understand, is, let's say a very genius person use mathematical equation, predict what the quark is supposed to have in advance. So which means that he says, like, in a way, if the quark are genius, under these circumstances, that's supposed to have this feature to really fulfill their function. And later on, this guy, he did experiment and prove what was predicted in theory by equation, confirmed by experimental finding. Now, both are fine, are great work. Indeed, there is nothing wrong with that. And I think we appreciate both of them. The key part here is that the problem here, as he discovered that and then claimed that now he's genius by discovering that, therefore he deserved Nobel Prize and get $1 million, and then say, no, 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 I mean, that just happened by itself, or this amazing work is the work of quark with no mind, that is hard to understand. So in other words, you're going to go and find out someone has zero mind, like a rock, and the rock will do something amazing. Just you discover and define what the rock does, and they give you a Nobel Prize. That's nonsense. So in this regard, that the key part here is, as you mentioned, it's very important to know that this is what they discover is not the property that actually come from quark, is the property that created and granted or observed with the quark, is not of the quark. That's number one. Number two is that it's not that the quark are genius, they actually know how to act mathematically in a right way. It is a sign of whoever create quark has this deep mathematical knowledge and give the property to the quark that is perfect fit to what you as mathematician could predict it should be. So that is really what is the case. And I think, it put them in a weird position, that as if you're just studying those work of dumb quark, but then you consider yourself to be genius, and you are in a way revealing their amazing work. That is, I think that's the ironic side, I guess.
And also human mind is created in such a way that he can predict the principles of creation. So God qualified human beings to understand and appreciate his work. So can you imagine if there were uh, uh, miscommunication or mismatching between human mind and the creation? We wouldn't make any sense of it. So the human mind is created by the one who created the universe. So then it exactly the lock and the key perfectly arranged. So human mind is the key, lock is the universe, and human mind can find it. So whoever made the lock must be the maker of the key. Whoever made the key, whoever made human beings, human mind, and must be the maker of the universe. There is no mention in materialist scientist, in the language of the materialist science. Who is arranging it? Who is
I,
arranging this perfect matching?
I remember one quote from, I think it was from Einstein. He says that, for me, the most incomprehensible thing is how we comprehensive the universe. He
Uh-huh.
says, so in other words, he says, I do not understand how we have the understanding to understand the universe. Because he does, that's really weird, because if you don't understand, if you don't accept the creator, you say, how did we get such mind that can comprehend the creation?
Yeah.
So, because how can there be such match? And I think that's really, once you acknowledge the source be the same, it becomes very easy. So whoever create the universe must be the one who create my mind, which I can comprehend the universe.
Now, unfortunately, materialist people don't look at this side of the matter because they don't mention either about this person, the famous philosopher. So it says the more meaningful the universe, the more meaningless it becomes. How come the matter become so meaningful for human beings that human beings can understand? How? It is mind-blowing, but unfortunately, it depends on your intention. I think if you want to be an honest person, just say, thank you, whoever created this universe, who is the creator of the universe. I thank you. I'm not going to serve you. That he's not asking you to pay anything. That is the relationship. The essence, the gist of prayer is this acknowledgement. Then when we acknowledge it, anytime you do anything, your life becomes prayer. Inshallah, we are going to study this. What does it mean here? The man represents that he is going to die anyways. Huh? He is going to die anyways. Now, and this man assumed that here, the one who is going to be executed, because he knows that he's going to die. So this person comes from the Nobel Center, wherever they are. Congratulations, you have been awarded the Nobel Prize. How much this person will be happy? The one who is going to be hanged.
I think it's completely meaningless. Yeah,
No, no.
I feel that price is gonna increase his pain because he will say, it's too bad that I am not gonna live to enjoy even the honor of getting Nobel Prize. It's gonna go to garbage.
No, no. This man is very happy, isn't it?
Yes,
For what?
getting Nobel Prize.
No, no, for Nobel Prize. But he knows, he's going to die, and even
Correct.
the Nobel Prize, maybe his sons or his children is going to sell this Nobel Prize model,
Yeah,
and they go
medal. Yes, medal.
and sell it as a gold. That's it. No prize or no value because he died. He died. Finish. As far as this man is concerned, it means nothing. But if someone does not acknowledge a conscious creator, then his life is exactly as this man. Whatever he gains, he knows that he is going to lose everything and disappear from existence. They cannot really enjoy their life, superficial enjoyment. Now he is cheating himself here that I'm very happy, I'm very happy. No, but he's cheating himself because he will go home at night and he says, okay, I got the Nobel Prize. What? So what? What then? I'm going to die. We finish. Meaningless. All right, here. Oh, now what we are doing here, we are, I mean, bringing to our attention the reality that prayer is not an action which takes only once or 5 times a day or when we need something uh, extraordinary. For example, I am healthy, I don't pray for health. Now, when I am ill, I start praying. Now, what we are doing here, that inshallah we will go into it more and more, how are we going to turn, here it is, our daily habits into worship of God? 24, 7, 24. Always we have the opportunity to practice our prayer. Worship and turn our life into a worship of God. Always we will be possible that I am worshiping God while I am walking, while I am sleeping, while I am, I don't know, eating, not eating, and or every occasion is an opportunity for me to turn my whole life into prayer. How? And what can we do in order to practice this? This is extremely important to me that we should not understand the prayer in a narrow way. Now, very narrow way. That is why God says in the Quran, I created you to worship, not only 5 times a day praying but always, inshallah, we will, next time is up. Let's start this next week. What do you think?
Okay, I think yeah, time's up. And I think as you mentioned, it's not only that the Quran will say that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So illa there it says only to worship. So which means that the whole purpose of life is really worship. But then what does it mean? How can we just live a life that the entire life will become worship? Is that possible? And I think that is the question, and inshallah we can address next week.
It
That
is possible. It's
yeah.
very easy. Very easy. Just be an honorable person. Respect yourself, as Allah says, وَكَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam. So, honorable. Don't disdain to worship matter, unconscious matter. Don't think that you are really benefiting from the favor of the matter. Just be an honorable, keep your dignity, human dignity, and be always in worship of God by acknowledging it. Inshallah, next week we will do more practice in this subject.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. So let me briefly just highlight key point, then we'll finish inshallah. As I heard that basically we try to reflect on the deeper meaning behind the prayer, particularly in terms of how we gain value through the prayer. And our point here is that we as a human being, if we understand and realize that who could provide the things to fulfill our needs and desires, then we'll go to Him every time when we need something. And since we need countless things every moment, that we're supposed to turn to Him rather than going to wrong source such as nature or chance or luck. And if we look at it this way, then we can see essentially prayer is at the center of our life, and everything we do in life in a way to connect to the Creator and communicate with Him. But if we don't understand that, then we in a way lower our value and go and beg from the beggars. Beggars means that the things that they are there, they are needy like us. They can't give us anything, and we go and beg from them or go and ask protection from them, and that is a very humiliating situation. So in this regard, that prayer provide us the highest level of dignity. Prayer make us to reach to the highest level of value as a abd. And once we become aware of that, then we can truly see the pleasure of having such connection and communication with the Creator. Inshallah, next week we're gonna discuss in terms of how to turn our entire life to be in the state of prayer and how this can be possible and what does it mean, inshallah. We'll reflect on this next week.
Okay, Bismillah.
Okay, let's end with dua, inshallah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين سر الفاتحة.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone, and see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.